Hi everyone, I'm here with General Archibald, and he's going to tell us about Elibian Nights, because I'm going to ask him these questions, and if he doesn't answer, well, we're all going to be kind of disappointed. So, first question I'm going to be asking you is, what is the premise of Elibian Nights? I'm sure it's a very popular hack and that everyone has seen it already, but for those of us who are too ignorant to have found it out, why don't you let us know?
Okay, so the premise of Elibian Nights is to tell the stories that happen in between Fire Emblem 7 and Fire Emblem 6. Because I feel like there were a lot of things left open-ended between FE7 and FE6 that never really got explained. Like what happened to all these characters, because I know a lot of them die and all that stuff. And so the premise is basically telling these stories. Because I thought there was a lot of room for storytelling in between that little era.
An extra little character development there, here and there.
Yeah.
Okay, so give us a general idea of why you wanted to do this hack. I mean, if there's anything other than wanting to expand on the characters themselves.
Well, at first I really didn't want to do the hack. I mean, I was sort of pushed into it by this Nair who was trying to get me to do this project. Yeah, goddamn. But hey, he did something right. So, yeah, he pushed me into doing the first tale, and I really didn't want to, but I did it anyways just to see if I would enjoy the project. And I wound up enjoying it because I've always enjoyed storytelling. And that's really at the core of the project, that's what it is telling stories.
Okay.
And so, yeah, that's what I've always enjoyed, and that's why I want to keep doing the hack.
Well, it's good that you're doing it then, because they're really well done.
Oh, thank you.
I'm actually going to thank Nair for one thing. Wow. So, what made you choose FE7 as the base for this hack? Why not FE6 or 8? Because they've all got their own things to give, so...
Well, FE7, it's all... The FE7 cast is in the ROM hack, so it'd be kind of silly to use anything else, because the palettes, the mugs, and everything's already in the ROM. And I couldn't really think of ways to use FE8's features that would justify me using it. And then FE6 is kind of...
too archaic?
You know, it's too archaic. You can have, like, really big maps, but I don't really need really big maps. So if it's like blinking frames or really big maps, I guess I'm going with blinking frames. People need to blink.
Okay, so what are some of your favorite characters in Elibian Nights so far? Because you've done pretty much all the writing for all these characters. I know they're already established in the Elib universe, but
yeah,
these scenarios haven't been, so you've had to write them all out.
Yeah, that's a good question. My favorite characters, well, I like Orun, who was just sort of a throwaway character mentioned in FE6, and I just sort of took him and made him into this badass Great Knight. And then it's like +2 strength on level up. I'm like, yes, yes. But I don't know, because originally in Tale 5 I wrote him to be like a much more major character, and he was sort of like this caring brother who'd been separated from Hector and always sort of really regretted it. So I always liked that aspect of Orun. And another of my favorites, I really liked writing for Geitz. Okay. He's sort of obscure there, but because in FE7 he was always searching for a purpose, and that's what he sort of revolved around, just sort of like wandering the world looking for a reason to exist. And I just sort of threw him in Tale 2, and it sort of like evolved into him finding that purpose, because his dad was an oppressive man, and he had kids rowing this merchant ship all over the world and like starving them and just generally being an ass.
Oh wow, I didn't even know that about his dad.
Yeah, it's in the Fiora Geitz support is when he talks about that. And so in Tale 2 he's with Raven fighting Thorben, who is himself kind of an oppressive ass. So Geitz sort of finds solace in like feeling guilty about what his dad did by fighting with Raven against these oppressive lords.
Okay. Yeah, that... Wow. You've really gone into these characters.
Yeah, some of them I've gone into, and some of them I sort of haven't. I feel like a couple of them I just sort of wrote for because I had to write for them.
Okay.
You know, like I feel like I could have done a better job on Lynn, but she's always just sort of been sort of.
I'm among the group that's not very pleased with Lynn's character myself. I'm
not really. I feel like she was Mary Sue all along, but I sort of made her worse. And in some ways, I feel like that's quite a feat. But
how do you make? Yeah, making a Mary Sue even more Sue. That you've turned her into Micaiah Arch. What are you doing?
Elibian Nights, the sequel.
Oh man, I don't know if that would be a good idea, but I'm sure you'd be able to pull it off.
I'm convinced that anything with a country or continent name and knights after it beyond this is a bad idea.
Okay.
I'm thoroughly convinced.
So I don't know if you are anymore, but why? I don't even know if this question can apply to you, but it's why are you so interested in Fire Emblem hacking?
That's an interesting one. You know, I just sort of dabbled in it for the longest time. I loved Fire Emblem. It was one of my favorite games when I was little, or like littler than I am now.
Like 13, 14?
Yeah, like that age. When I first got the Game Boy Advance, I got Fire Emblem Sacred Stones, and that was sort of an entry-level game for me. And I always just really enjoyed it because I always enjoyed that sort of tactical element. And I don't know, I just sort of hacked Fire Emblem because I just did. It just sort of interested me. It's like taking something else and like sculpting it into your own little thing.
Okay. Yeah, that is what most people try to get out of a Fire Emblem hack, is turn it into their own little story.
Yeah.
So, well, what's keeping you going to finish this?
Well, I don't mean to like sound conceited, but a lot of what kept me going after the first release anyways was just the positive response to it. And that just sort of propels you forward, because if people don't like what you're putting out, then there's not really a reason to put it out. I mean, there's no reason to continue, because you're hacking a game. The end result is.
Arch, I'm going to interrupt you for a second. I seriously agree with that kind of mindset, that if no one likes what you're doing, then you shouldn't be trying to make it anymore.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of hacks out here that no one likes, and just keep updating them, and it doesn't get any better.
Yeah.
So yeah. I'm actually kind of glad you have that mindset.
Yeah. Well, the way I see it is, you're not making the hack for yourself. I mean, I do it as a hobby, but the end product is for other people.
Yeah.
I mean, if I just make a hack and make a long hack just to play myself, I mean, that was just sort of a waste of time, I feel like.
Yeah. You want to make this so that other people can enjoy it.
Oh, definitely. I mean, that's always the goal. And then I'll think of things, and sometimes I'm a little obsessive over it, but I'll like think, oh, this isn't as good as it could be, and I'll scrap the entirety of Tale 1, for instance.
Yeah, I actually remember when you did that.
Yeah. But I feel like the end product was better, because it was just sort of, the one before it was just sort of like, oh, Eleanor's dying.
Yeah.
Oh, bandits are attacking. Oh, Eleanor died. Let's go on. Next story.
So, what is it about Elibian Nights that you think is ridiculously unique, and that makes it stand out from the rest of them? I know these questions are so obvious when it comes to you, but I have to ask them anyway.
Yeah, I understand your job. Okay, what's unique about Elibian Nights, I think, at its core, the most unique feature about it is the structure. Because all the other hacks just like, oh, let's do 30 chapters, and you have the people, and you build your army, and you keep getting more people, and then eventually you fight the final boss, and it's like, oh,
generic Fire Emblem
there we go.
Game.
Yeah, I feel like the hacks that I would want to play should be different than the regular games, because they're all just sort of structured the same way. And so I feel like that's what's really unique about Elibian Nights' structure, is that it's linear, because you have to play Tale 1 to unlock Tale 2, and Tale 2 to unlock Tale 3. But all the parties are separate from each tale, except for Sane, who finds himself in 2 different tales somehow. And then, but they're all different, and so it's kind of like you can pick up any tale, you can pick up at any point in the game, and play it and understand it. Like, if I did it where you could just start at any tale and just play them all in any order, like, you could literally start at any point.
Yeah. And that is a really fun mechanic you've put in there with the tale select screen. To make it so that players can just do whatever they want. If they want to go back and play a tale, they don't have to restart the game.
Yeah, I always enjoyed that. You know, I added achievements to the tale select screen for replayability, so I feel like that's an important part of Elibian Nights too.
Elibian Nights, now on Xbox 360.
Yes, now on Xbox. If only. That would be quite cool.
So what have you done for publicity to bring people in to play this hack? What have you done to make them want to download that patch and spend the 2 minutes, which is oh so important to everyone now, of patching that UPS onto an FE7 ROM?
Yes. Well, I feel like a lot of my publicity was just sort of handed to me by doing a hack about Elibian characters. I feel like that's really easy to get people to download if you have a quality hack to back it up.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, who in the fandom hasn't played FE7? I mean, really.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are attached to the characters, and so the ones who are a little deeper, because the real fans are, like, the hardcore fans are the ones who play the hacks, really. They're, like, the biggest audience for that. And so they all have these connections to the FE7 characters, and so they see this hack that's about FE7 characters after the story, and it's kind of like, oh, that's cool. And just, like, the name is sort of publicity. And I just sort of...
Well, it's a clever pun, and it's publicity at the same time.
Yes. And, the other side of publicity is just showing the screenshots and showing the quality of the hack, because, I mean, if it was Elibian Nights and it sucked, I mean, he would just be like, what the hell are you doing to my FE7 characters? Get off the internet.
I was about to make a very mean joke about another hacker, but I'll save that. We're supposed to be civil here. Let's just say if it was made by a certain other individual, I do not think it would be this good.
I know which direction you're going in.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that most viewers should at this point.
Probably. So, I know that you're almost done, I think. I know that I'm in that one group on Skype where you talk to everyone about Elibian Nights and you tell us all your secret plans. But yes. I don't know all of your secret plans, because your general you always have to keep something secret.
Oh, yes.
So what are you planning to implement in the future here for Elibian Nights, if you can tell us?
Well, let's make a little news at FEE3 here. This next patch, 4.0, is going to be coming out very soon. And that will contain, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 12 tales.
Whoa.
12 tales. But, they're the 3 guidons, and then 1 tale has 2 parts. So, that will be 12 chapters total you can play. And then there will be at least 1 more release with what I'm calling the final tale. But, you know, I'm going to college next year, so I'm not sure how much free time I'm going to have.
Ooh.
But I've got ideas, at least in my head, for about 6 more.
You're insane, good sir.
I know I'm insane. But
6 more. Oh.
Yeah, 6 more. But I feel like if I do 6 more, I don't want to overstay my welcome, so they're gonna have to be good.
Yeah, I can sort of understand that.
Yeah.
Only sort of, because I'm pretty sure no one in the fandom would complain if you made another tale and it was well done and it made sense.
Yeah.
But that's just more game for them to play. But I can understand where you're coming from with that.
Yeah, well, Elibian Nights, when it began, was supposed to be kind of short. It was supposed to be like 7 tales, and it sort of evolved into almost double that over the span of its life. 'Cause the final product, when I release it, will have 13 tales.
Are you gonna have enough room on that select screen there?
Yes, I do. I've had to reorganize it a couple times, but I have them all in, like, all the units are in a little circle, and then after you unlock the final tale, they all rearrange themselves.
Whoa.
Because there wasn't room to put the final one. And then you have the 3 little Gaiden guys just sort of chilling in the back.
That's a really nice way to organize it. Well, thank you for your time there, Archie.
Oh,
And-
my pleasure, Trent. My pleasure.
This has been a very nice, insightful, hilarious interview.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye.